welcome back to our channel. Today we have our friend David here. David has been doing a lot of the brick paver work for us over the years, pressure washing. He actually built us this beautiful fireplace right here. And today David is going to show us how to sand and seal your own brick pavers.
Yes, and it's not as easy as it looks, because I've seen him do this before a few years ago, and he's done the pool area and a lot of other places. It is work. It's hard to do, but if you want to try it at home, this is the man to tell you how to do it, because he's been doing it a long time. Like, how many years, David, have you been doing this?
8 to 9 years right now in Citrus County.
In Citrus County, and if you're in the Citrus County area, when you're done seeing this video and all the work that's involved with it, if you don't want to do it on your own, give David a call. His information is going to pop up on the screen. We'll also have a link in the description down below, so you can just click to it and get right to him. But David, tell us how you kind of start the job and what you do when you come in here. I know you were already a day into it almost, but how does it start for you?
Well, like in this case, we have a paper that, you know, it's got over maybe 9-10 years. So the first thing you do is pressure clean. After you pressure cleaning, you can see how it's gonna look after it gets the sealer coat, because the sealer coat, what it does is give you a wet look. So after you pressure clean it, you kind of can't tell how it's gonna come out. But after you pressure clean, then you have to sand everything. That's what I'm doing right now. And in this case, I'm using a sand that's called polymeric sand. It's called polymeric because it has some poly, it has some glue in it that when you sprinkle water to it, it activates it and then it hardens. So when you have pavers that have been, you know, shifting for the year, corrosion.
Yeah,
anyway.
There's definitely some corruption when it erodes, isn't it? I don't like that. We're fixing the corruption right now.
We're fixing this corruption right now.
That's right.
So when you get stuff like that, you know, you got big gaps, this is the right sand to use, because it's going to harden and then it's not going to wash out as easy when it rains, right, which is what usually happens. So usually new pavers are tight between each other. The sand doesn't have anywhere to go. A little bit of sealer would help it to stay in place. But in this case, we're using polymeric sand, and then after that, we're gonna do the sealer.
So what he's done so far is he's pressure washed everything around the property, and as you guys can see, it's a pretty big property. We have brick pavers all around the front, the side, the little trail going down to the boat. So it's been a lot of work pressure washing it, and now he's just pushing this sand, filling in all the cracks where he blew out the old sand with this stuff that's supposed to be better than what I was using before. And then after you push this through, is there some kind of mixture that you do, or what do you do to get it to harden and stay in place?
The sealer, you mean?
Yes, the sealer.
The sealer I use.
See how much I know.
The sealer I use is an epoxy product. So you have to mix these two parts, and they guarantee it to last for 3 years. But when you take in the heat of the sun, it might last 1.5 years or 2. And then you want another sealer coat. The sealer coat again, what it does is revive the color, because when you add a clear coat to any base color, it pops it out. So that's what we're trying to do, pop this up. It's the way to go, affordable, instead of replacing all the pavers, because I mean, you're talking about thousands of dollars versus hundreds of dollars. So this is the way to go with the renewing pavers that are old. And some people think, oh, it's easy, I can do that, I can pressure clean and then I can sand and seal. This is the thing, when you pressure cleaning, you need at least 36 psi to 4,000 psi, so you can really clean that paver. And then after you've done that part, then you choose what sand you're gonna use, and it takes a lot of brooming. I rather do it dry, but some people do it wet. You can't do this one wet, because this one, when you get it wet, it activates itself and it is a mess. So this one needs to be dry. But the regular sand could be dry or wet, and then you gotta let it dry a little bit. The epoxy product that I use either Lock and Seal or Euro Seal. Well, it's a base water epoxy product, so even if it's not completely dry, you can still apply it, but you gotta watch for the weather, because if it rains, it'll wash away your epoxy, and the epoxy is an expensive product.
Yeah, it is. And so the difference last time is you mixed the sand and the sealant together, and you did the sealant afterwards, is that correct? Where it did not activate the way this one does?
The thing with this sand is it does has a polymeric in it. So I can sprinkle water into it after I sand it and it will harden. I let that dry, and then I'm ready to apply the sealer coat, and it will help harden it
So
even.
it's a sealer and then another sealer on top of it.
It's this sand which is gonna harden, and then the sealer on top of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do 2 coats of sealer, so that's gonna give me a better addition to both the paver and the sand. I'm gonna mix my sealer, and it's an epoxy sealer, so it's 2 parts. It's 1 part with this white liquid and the other one with this other liquid that's a little thick. So you mix 1 gallon of water with 1 gallon of this white liquid, and then 1/4 of this. So this is like the dryer of the whole thing. All right, so I'm gonna do that and then put it in my sprayer, and we'll do the driveway. When you're mixing it, you want to mix it for 2-3 minutes. Make sure that the 2 components come together. Start spraying my sealer. Everybody's got their own technique on doing it. I like to do my corners first. That way I can measure, you know, not to get the doors, the sliding doors if there is. So I take my time on doing the borders, and then I come and spray it in the rest of the area. Gotta get the water that was in there, and when I got the sealer, it's gonna turn white.
All right guys, so David just finished. It took him a couple days to do this. There's a lot of work involved in the sanding and sealing your brick pavers. And you want to tell us what you did here, the final step that you did before the completion?
Sure. The mid step was actually the sanding, and we used polymeric sand. And then with the first coat, we did a first coat of the epoxy sealer, and we waited a day and then gave it a second coat of the sealer.
So
and
we're standing on the second coat right now.
We're standing on the second coat.
It's only been here 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's why you can see some
of the
white
white
spots is still drying. but it should dry and just keep that wet look.
Nice, nice. So within a few hours, it's going to be completely ready to be walked on and used and everything put back in place.
Yeah, absolutely. I always
Okay.
tell customers not to stand on it, especially if it is a driveway, because the tire track of a vehicle will definitely,
Yeah.
you know, mark it. But people walking on it, it should be fine. But in the next 2 hours with this heat, we should be perfect.
Awesome. And if someone doesn't want to do this on their own because they think the process is a little too hard, how would they get a hold of you to do it?
Okay, you can call me. My phone number in Citrus County is 352-602-9135. Or you can look at my Facebook page, dpinero@yahoo.com, and I post most of my jobs there, so you'll be able to see also the repairs that I do.
There you go. And his information is going to show up on the screen as well. And if you're not in the Crystal River or Homosassa area, the Citrus County area, he'll travel within about an hour from here. And when you call him or shoot him a message, he'll give you all the info on what it'll run. He'll come out and measure your place. And he does an amazing job. And if you want a little tip on how to do it yourself, this is your man as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks again, Jimmy.
All right.